Hi, my name is Jacqueline Rose, and I do not think it's a coincidence that you're here. I think you're meant to be here, so if this message resonates with you, click like and subscribe to my channel. This channel is about everything spiritual and much, much more. So, I wanted to talk about how I transformed my life, okay? Um, with changing my perspective about everything in life. I always say that, like, I've changed my perspective about life and how I saw my life. I did this in a lot of different instances, but I'm going to give you some examples of how you can change your perspective over your life and others, meaning giving you a different point of view. Okay. So I started to look or see everybody's traumas. And I started trying to figure out, because my brain is analytical this way, trying to figure out why people came to the conclusions that they did, and why I started with me, that I came with the conclusions that I did over my life. I had a lot of self-limiting beliefs in my life, and I noticed this. Okay, so for instance, I thought, this is a self-limiting belief, and I did not realize this, okay? A lot of the times, most of the times, most human beings don't realize that they have self-limiting beliefs because other people told them something and then they believed it to be true. So I thought I was a pretty little girl and that I needed to find somebody to take care of me. And I couldn't really stand up on my own 2 feet. And that one day I was going to find a husband and get married, and he was going to take care of me, and I was going to be a stay-at-home mom, and I was going to have one little boy. All these things I believed, and all of them came true. Um, but I was only capable of doing so much. I couldn't do a whole lot of things on my own. So what happens is you have these self-limiting beliefs, and then you end up, because you believe these things to be true. See, I didn't realize that I believed these things to be true. Um, then you end up doing patterns like that. Okay, so when I was younger, I remember a stepdad telling me why he thought I was asleep, but I was not. That was telling a friend of mine that I would just grow up to be a housewife, and clean the house. And here I am, a housewife. It's not the only fucking thing I do. but and I grew up being told that I have a learning disability. I'm dyslexic. And so that was a self-limiting belief. Like, I wasn't smart enough. I was never good enough. I was never smart enough. And that I was only capable of doing a certain amount. And then if I was capable of doing anything, my looks were going to get me there. Meaning, when I started to get overweight and I thought that I was no longer pretty, then I was not good enough at all. Okay? So these are self-limiting beliefs that everybody tells themselves a story. And once I had my spiritual awakening, my eyes opened to everybody's traumas. And it broke my fucking heart. Not only was I opened up to my own traumas, I was opened up to other people's traumas. And I could see how these beliefs and patterns that they had in their life were affecting them greatly. And it literally, like, made my heart ache because people aren't aware of them. And so how we can change this is you need to be able to recognize the story that you tell yourself. You have to go back in time and go, what did I believe to be true? Like, what did I think was possible for my life? And what signs or messages did I get to make me think this about myself? I can now go in like a roadmap of my life and go, oh, this person said this and this person said this, and I believed it to be true. So that's how my outer world was reflected, right? And so what we do with other people, let's say that you have a dispute with somebody in your life. For example, if I have a dispute with my husband, and I believe that he has the capability of doing so much more in his life, right? And we're in an argument, and he has these self-limiting beliefs on himself, and he spews out like, I'm just not good enough, right? Then you need to take note of that and go, oh, I understand where he's coming from now. Because I can see so many things. I see so much potential in so many people, right? I see so much potential in people that they don't see in themselves because of these beliefs that they have of themselves, okay? So you have to take a different point of view of why people do what they do and understand and be compassionate about it. And then what you can do is help build them up, right? That's what I decided to do in every moment, because I saw the pain from people and I could literally, it was like my brain went into these like fragments and I could see all these patterns for people. And I was like, what can I do to change the world? What I can do is I can encourage these people, because people are asleep to these things. It's literally like you're asleep and you don't realize your own patterns. You don't understand your own beliefs. You don't get that. You don't see it. You don't get it. And you're living in it, because that's why meditation was so huge for me, because I mean, it completely changed my life in a lot of ways, but meditation was so huge because I was able to view my thoughts and view my beliefs. And before, I just lived in them. And I never really understood why I thought the way that I did. And so when you understand that about everybody, that everybody's living in these patterns and these beliefs of their life and where it would go, then you have to have a little bit more compassion. And so I decided I was going to build people up. That's what I was going to do to change the world in any way that I could. I was going to start building people up, and I was going to do it authentically. I wasn't going to make up lies and just said, hey, you're good at this, but I was going to go, hey, you're good at this and you need to do this, this, and this. Not that you have to, it's your life, but I see it. Like, I literally can see people, like, their lives going in this whole different direction if they can just get out of these self-limiting beliefs. And that's why it's so huge to have a different point of view. Okay? And I think that when you have a different point of view, meaning you're in an argument and you're arguing with somebody and you stop for a second and go, why are they acting this way? What are their beliefs? What happened in their childhood? And what is the story that they're telling themselves? Everybody is telling them a story. Everybody is telling themselves a story. Okay. And when you know that everybody is telling themselves a story, you have to figure out what story are they telling themselves. And once you can figure that out, and I say that a lot in disputes or conversations, I'll say the story that I'm telling myself right now is that you're saying this. So when you're in a dispute, that if you say that, what I'm hearing right now, it tells the other person that you're listening to them. And then it tells, this is what I'm saying, this is what I'm hearing, this is what I'm seeing. Is this true? Because we all tell each other stories. Well, they meant this and they meant that, blah, 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 which is all bullshit. You don't know. I mean, literally, I hear people go, well, if they meant this, then this means that. But that's not true all the time. And so we have to start seeing other people's point of view. And the best practice of this is when you see people's point of view that is the exact opposite of your point of view. Okay. And you can do this in the political arena. I say this all the time. That's the hardest thing. It used to be the hardest thing. Like, why are these folks so evil? That's what my brain would say. And then I started going through their story and going, okay, well, if they were raised like this and they were told this, they were brought up on these belief systems. I'm not saying it's right, but it's a belief. And if they believe these things to be true, then their way of thinking is true. Okay? And so they're right from their point of view, and I'm right from my point of view. So in relationships, in arguments, I think if you could really, really start putting yourself in other people's shoes, it will tremendously change your life. And it tremendously changed my life. I no longer had the resentments and the grudges. I took a moment and I saw how they felt. I could feel how people felt. And I changed it. I said, okay, I can do something different. I can make a difference in this. I hope this helps somebody. Much love. Holler for a motherfucking dollar.